equations we wrote yesterday. I know that a lot of you would really like to just do the graphing in your notebook and make a lot of little tick marks, but it really is important for some graph paper. So the assignment today has graph paper on it. If you want to do your assignment digitally using Kami, you can do that. You should get some graph paper possibly. If you don't have graph paper and you need graph paper, please talk to your teacher and we'll see if we can get you some. But it really is important to use graph paper because a lot of times your lines really don't look good straight. I can't tell what you've done unless you use a piece of graph paper. So that's important. Make sure that you are labeling your notes today. We are graphing equations. This is the day 2 assignment. Put the date on it. And remember, please either highlight that it's your notes, put in a different color that it's notes, and then when you move to your notebook to do your homework, or if you print it off, that's fine too, but make sure it's labeled as day 2 homework so that when I'm checking your notes and homework, it is easier for me to determine what you have done and also helps you stay super organized, which is a great skill. So graphing, everybody loves to graph in, hopefully you remember, this is slope intercept form because we have the slope and we have the intercept. So of course I used this graph paper over this piece of lined paper, which makes it really difficult after I told you that you have to use graph paper. So I'm going to do my best to graph on my piece of graph paper that's over my lined paper. You should just use graph paper. So I'm going to start with the intercept. So this is the one that we all like, -4. Okay, and I'm going to move here. And then remember, my slope is the change in y over the change in x, which means I go up and down first and then left and right second. So I'm going to go up 3 and then I'm going to go over 5. And that's where I'm going to plot my next point. Now you can do 2. I like 3 points. I think it helps make your line a little straighter. I would love it if you would use a ruler. Again, I'm not sure what you have at home. Any straight edge would work. And it turns out that sometimes if you take the case off your cell phone, you could set your cell phone on your piece of paper and then even use that as a straight edge. I'm going to try to use this line tool. I'm sure that I will fail miserably. It has only one end. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. Now I have a 2-ended line. And I'm going to try and draw. Oh, I didn't do too bad either. So here is my line where I graphed positive 3/5 x minus 4 using the slope and the intercept. I have 2 more examples for you, one of each kind. Here we are graphing in, this is our standard form. You remember that, standard. Okay, and in standard form, you, the student, generally like to try to change this into slope intercept form. And that's a lot of work. And I'm going to teach you the not as much work way. And that's by just graphing 2 points. I'm going to graph the x and the y intercept. Okay. And so yesterday, or the day 1 video, we talked about making this t-table where we plug in 0 for y and we plug in 0 for x. So when I plug in 0 for y, I get -5y equals 30. So I get -6. And when I plug in 0 for y, I get 3x equals 30, and then x equals 10. So sometimes, so if these aren't whole numbers, you can kind of guess and check if you want to find another point that's a whole number. I am not expecting you to graph a fraction on your little box here. So if I got a fraction, one of these, I got 0, -6, and 10, 0. I didn't get a fraction. But if I did, I might try a couple other numbers to see if I can find an x and a y that are not a fraction on here. Okay, so 0 over 6 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to plot here. And 10 over 0 up, is right here. And again, I'm going to try to use the line tool. We'll see how successful I am. I still have both arrows. Now, I hope that you notice this is, that one didn't work as well, of course. One of my biggest pet peeves, and this is just Mrs. Vogt's pet peeve, so I don't know if Miss Harrod and Miss Delmont feel the same, is that this is not a dot to dot. Okay, this is not connecting the dots. Notice that I did my best too to put arrows on both ends of these, and I connected my line and went past my 2 points. Okay, this line extends forever and ever in both directions. This is not a dot to dot. What my pet peeve is this: you put 2 dots on your graph and then you take your pencil and you just connect them and then you stop. Okay, this is a no-no. Please don't do this. Please use your ruler and extend past the dots and put arrows on both ends. The last one I have for us, this one is in point slope form. And again, you guys really love to try to change this, do your algebra, distribute the 1/2, and make it into your favorite slope intercept form. But I'm going to tell you that you don't have to do that. I'm going to remind you of this formula that I told you yesterday. My hand makes all these little dots and I don't like it, so I'm going to erase some of them. When you see this formula, it includes both a point and the slope. So the slope it includes is 1/2. That'll be up 1 over 2. And it also includes a point. And that point is -3, +4. And so you're going to say, Mrs. Vogt, look at that's a +3 here, and that's a -4 here. But look at our formula. It says x minus x1. This x1 has a negative. This is a plus. So how would I make it a plus? I would subtract a negative. So this is like x minus -3. Okay, that's how I know it's a -3. It's supposed to be an x. And here I have x minus 4. That's a +4, and it goes here. Some people want to memorize that they just flip the sign. If that's what you'd like to do, go ahead and do that. So how can I graph now? Well, I have a point, so I'm going to find it. -3, move backwards 3, +4, move up 4, and I'm going to put that point right on my graph. And now that I have 1 point, I'm going to use my slope. I'm going to go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. Okay, you don't have to change this into slope intercept form. Okay, and then here I go again, trying to use my line tool that I'm okay at. And again, I tried to put arrows on the end of both of mine, and I extended much past my 4 dots. Okay, and I would appreciate if you would do that too. That is graphing in 3 different forms, and I think you are set now to go ahead and do your homework.